Are you choosing that which brings balance into your life and ultimately serves you? My name is Heather Feather. I am the owner of Rare Bird Medicine, and today's topic is the chosen. We are choosing beings, every moment choosing our perspective, and it is understandable that it can be easy out of the multifaceted choices. They're not dualistic, actually. Multifaceted choices we have present in our multiversal place of being. There are all these aspects as how we can have and hold any given topic, and we are choosing a perspective. And we're saying it's this story, and we are all telling stories of our suffering and our glories. And Heather, being Sagittarius, has always wanted to be a silver lining finder. I have a lot of water, and water can be reflective and sometimes depressive, and so it's challenging sometimes for me to choose to see the light in the reflection of the reflecting pool of my waters. And so I do understand well what it means to hold a dark perspective. And the question often when we are in the doldrums, or when we are in, all of these variant, we sometimes don't even notice that we're like sliding around in negative thoughts around given topics. And there are often roots back of those things that we're sliding around in. What Heather Feather works to do is to go, what is it? What could it be about this what different choice could I make about this terribleness that could be a grace potentially? Where could the grace lie in this story that feels dramatic, that feels emotional, that feels I'm right about the injustice and I'm blah, 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 What part of this multifaceted crystalline topic lets the light through? And part of life, I do believe, part of the work we came to do is to integrate the shadow, integrate the darkness. Whatever we are projecting onto any being or humanity is our work, the forest in our own eyes, to clarify before we fiddle with splinters in another's eye. And so it is important to kind of embrace the shadow, embrace the darkness, embrace your sorrow, embrace your pain, embrace your fears. Heather's had an abject fear throughout her life of living her life alone. And here I am at 50 doing exactly that. That's what I've created. And so there's this contrast present in my life of what I say is a great fear, because I watched my mother, what felt like, often be alone in her efforting to steward and rear 3 children that she wanted to offer everything to. And I love extreme intimacy, deep closeness, like the construct of the beloved, the idea of home, being 2 hearts that beat next to one another. And I am in this creation in which I am alone, and it's my creation. I am a creative mind. And so why did I choose this? So it's good to look at all these facets of the crystal of perspective that's available, that's called our dark, shadowy thoughts, our what we're terrified of. And fear can be as creative as love, even though it is false evidence appearing real. We can chew on illusions, or we can chew on the truth. And the Course in Miracles lesson I'm doing today is that when I am healed, I am not healed alone. And part of healing is understanding that I am eternal. I cannot be threatened by death. I cannot be threatened by illness. I cannot be threatened by other people's judgments. I cannot be threatened by my own judgments. I cannot be threatened by my mind, by my body, by the physical world. I don't chew on illusions. I don't chew on holograms. Let me remember the truth and be free. Let me choose another facet in the living tree of perspectives that might liberate me this day. Where is the silver lining in this topic that is causing me pain? Heather's often said the only thing that causes pain is not accepting what is. And sometimes we are needing to accept something that feels really big. The death of someone, the construct of, are we eternal? Do we have a soul? Do you actually have faith in what you believe if you're a faithful person? Do you actually believe in a soul? Or when someone dies, do you feel a great loss? Do you know the eternality, or have you chosen a greater cost of believing that you can be without, that you can be taken from, you know? And I do understand that perspective. I do understand what it means to choose the loss. But what if you chose the win? What if you chose the gain? What if you chose the boon instead? I start chemotherapy next week, and I had an experience about a week ago where I was sicker than I've ever been. The only thing that comes close is as a teenager, I had food poisoning, and I was praying the entire time to die. I was in so much pain. And I had an illness where I was vomiting and had diarrhea, and it's what I would call violently ill. I was violently vomiting. And we could definitely, humans like to be comfortable, say, that is an unpleasant, dark, nobody wants that. Well, I'm sorry. Ooh, you know, they can make you squirm or make people, oh, I'm so sorry, or whatever. And as somebody who's about to go through months, potentially, 4 to 6 months of chemotherapy before I have surgery, I like, as I look for the silver lining, it's like, what if my entire chemo experience is nothing like that illness that I had for 24 to 48 hours? And I had this touchstone that I can always go back to from just 24 to 48 hours of my life where I was sick, no big whoop. Heather's been sick many times, where I can go, it could always be worse. And let me take the grace. Let me take the win. Let me take the offering that, although, as I'm going through chemotherapy, I may be sick today, I have done things that are harder than this. And what a grace that I'm being given opportunity again to remember that I'm not the body, and I don't have to be addicted to disease. I do not have to be addicted to illness. I do not have to be addicted to the concept that we don't have a soul and I can lose someone, that I can be at a loss, that I can be a loser of infinite energy that will exist for all time and cannot be created nor destroyed. Let me remember my beliefs. Let me remember that silver lining piece when I'm in a darkened hour. Let me light my lantern, or turn the lights on, if you will, or let the light shine through the cracks of this egg I'm gestating in. Compost is a very beneficent thing to bloom forth a seed. And sometimes we are having experiences that feel like weighty darkness, feel overwhelming, feels like this is too much for the universe to askness. And what is happening is we are creating a foundation of compost, of weeds in the garden that do not serve the bountiful beauty and harvest that we actually intended as an entity to bloom forth. And we must allow things to fall fallow. We must allow things to become compost in the garden so that the seeds can gestate in the darkness, in these dark, tiny, mad, small ideas of separation that can drive a person bananas. Instead, use them as fertilization for a seed that will reach for the light. And are you allowing your darkened hours to be the compost for what is perhaps around the bend and still just a little bit out of sight? You don't need to see the whole staircase to know exactly where you're headed. You just need to take the next step, is a famous MLK quote. He said it a little bit divergent from that, but that's the essence of it. And so, can I remember, while I stand on the platform I stand on, while things feel difficult, that the story hasn't ended? The story hasn't ended. And maybe even upon what I think will be an end, my deathbed, whether that be today, 3 decades from now, whenever it is that Heather Feather takes her last breath in this place, is it possible that the cosmic joke will be present and my eternality that has been present the entire time, that silver lining of the truth back of the illusions that I've been chewing on, might be the fruit upon which I chew? And the moment that has always been inevitable, we've always known we're headed towards the grave. And what if it's the most glorious moment of awakening into the truth of our eternality? Can we stop chewing on illusions today and find the silver lining? amun.